I just got out of the shower. Do I look super clean? I should. Would you abort your child if it was going to be born with severe disabilities? Why or why not? Wow, we're starting off like really dark. This is Ask Reddit, by the way, if you didn't pick up on that. Do I want to even answer that one? Would you abort your child if it was going to be born with severe disabilities? Why or why not? Like instinctively, I think no. Like right away, if someone asked me that, I'm like, no, dude, I'm not going to. I'm going to care for it. It's going to be like, yeah, it's going to be disabled and I just grow up with it, or it grows up with us and we like, love it and all that stuff. But then like in the real world, when we actually have that as an option, dude, I actually don't know. I don't want to be, it's easy to be altruistic where you're like, yeah, I'll care for it, and that child will be my life's mission. And yes, I guess that's the godly answer or whatever. But I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what the situation is. What if you're with someone that really sucks? Like, can you imagine a more nightmarish situation where you're like with someone, your partner is actually really shitty, and it just so happens you got into that situation? Yeah, all of it sounds like it could really suck. But also, there's really cool stories where a child with a disability grows up around a really loving home, and they're all good. I remember here, let's click on the comments, see what people have to say. I remember there was this one book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. He's like famous. It was a famous like self-help book, and he talks about how he had a son, still has a son. I don't know if the son's still around. Those people were old, man. That book was written a long time ago, 40s, 50s, maybe earlier. I think he was in office when Eisenhower was around. Truman, I don't know, veering way off topic here. That dude, the guy that wrote the book Think and Grow Rich, had a son that grew up with, or was born with a deformity. His ear, I believe they said he was going to be deaf, actually, and his ear was messed up, like physically messed up, and it affected his ability to hear as well. And Napoleon and his wife, I should say Napoleon Hill, because if someone just like is picking up on the conversation and they hear Napoleon, they think I'm going to be obviously talking about the only other Napoleon. Well, no, there's three. There's Napoleon Bonaparte, Napoleon Hill, Napoleon Dynamite, which I should read about. Yeah, but anyway, he grew up, Napoleon Hill's kid grew up around a household because Napoleon made it a point of treating him no different from anyone else. He thought the doctors were full of shit, and then like miraculously over time, over up until his teen years, he slowly, I guess, got the ability to hear or something. It was really crazy. They treated him like he was normal, and then he ended up being normal. I'm putting normal in quotes. Don't cancel me. Droid Hacks 89 says, my greatest fear is that my wife and I would have a child with my genetics. Oof. I have epidermolysis is what I'm going to say that is. Bullosa simplex. Basically a protein deficiency that causes the layers of skin to not stick together. Holy shit, I'm so sorry. So my skin cracks, blisters, and peels constantly. More severe cases cause the skin to peel off like taking off a glove. Oh my god, nightmare. I don't know that I would ever want to put that on my child, to have to live with constant hospitalizations and infection, likely live a very short life. I was lucky. If I was determined that my child would end up with a severe case, I wouldn't want them to suffer. I totally understand it. And one more, then I'll move on. This is a little bit dark. Kirome, Kirome says, I remember hearing about a study about this exact same thing. Unsurprisingly, most parents would rather choose abortion if they knew their kid would end up with a disability, and I completely see it. By both sides of that. Yeah, it's hard to look at with like, I'm over this, I don't even want to dig into it, but that was posted, I didn't say, by Matchless2, and it had 12,500 upvotes. Moving on. Posted by Louvre Gas 2021, 3,476 upvotes. What pre-1990 film do you consider perfect? Come on, man, all of them. That's when movies were good. And a little bit through the 90s. Even 1980s movies that were supposedly flops are like considered classics now. They just become cult classics. Oh my god. It's Lou Vegas, the guy's name. The poster of this is Lou Vegas, not Louvre Gas. Plus Louvre, like the Louvre in Paris, would be spelled with an R. I'm so dumb. Let's look on the comments. Okay, famous. I can't name consider a perfect 1990 film. I already I put Neverending Story on. I've read about Neverending Story and a couple of other ones. Look, Indiana Jones, Star Wars. What are we doing here? It's a silly question, but I want to see what other people put. The Last Nevermoor said, I thoroughly enjoyed Coming to America. There you go. Perfect. I don't know if that makes it perfect, but I don't remember a scene that wasn't comedic gold. Your royal penis is washed, Your Highness. Dude, that whole movie is excellent. Remarkable Fun 7662 says Alien. I disagree. Dude. Had you put an S at the end of that and you went with Aliens, we could have been seeing eye to eye here. But guess what? I saw Alien without the S recently. And what else? I saw it with a 16-year-old, why can't I say that? 16-year-old girl who is a horror fan. I can't even say horror correctly. Horror. Horror. Did they mean for horror to sound like whore? Are they messing with people? Anyway, 16-year-old girl who's a horror fan. And we sit down and we turn on Alien. That ain't a horror movie, people. It's like, it can barely qualify as like sci-fi. It's like a suspense film. It takes forever. I'm gonna get my ass handed to me. Yeah, but you know what? Daddy Cheese, Pepperoni Tony, all you got, Pocket Rocket, the movie people, I want you to chime in on this. Alien versus Aliens. Alright, hit me with it. And I want you to tell me why it's good, just like one word. Am I crazy, or did Alien, like in hindsight, yeah, you've got the two scenes in it, about two scenes that are like, whoa, and that's what you really remember from it. But I dare you go back and watch Alien and find it to be other than something that's kind of like a suspense movie, because there's like no action for a really long time. Aliens is where it's at. I'm done. Okay, I want to see some other movies in this though. John Fat Johnson says The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. You know what? I've only seen bits and pieces, but it is Eastwood. I'm supposed to do an Eastwood reading for Heem Sheffy, actually. I'll get around to it. Momcat23, Young Frankenstein never gets old. And I'm sorry, never gets old. Despite knowing the script inside out, there are still bits that crack me up. Anything, you can just put anything Mel Brooks in and it's gonna be fine. And you know what other movie I really liked, and I actually saw it at the premiere with the cast and the audience. Anyone ever hear of a movie or see a movie called Young Einstein with a guy named Yahoo Serious? Yahoo, Yahoo. I saw Young Einstein. He figures out how to put the bubbles into beer. It's good. He saves a couple of kittens from getting baked in pies. I was all about that movie. I loved it. I loved Young Einstein when I was a kid. The Terminator and Terminator 2. No, that was 90s. That was after 90. That's not pre-90. Okay, Terminator. Very good. I'm on board. 12 Angry Men I Never Saw. Blazing Saddles. There you go. Mel Brooks again. Raiders of the Lost Ark. I already said Indiana Jones. And any of those. Back to the Future, of course. All of them. Wait. No, part 2 and 3 were post-90s, yeah. And Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Any Monty Python's The Godfather was phenomenal, but it's so slow. You gotta be really in like a mood to watch The Godfather. Kurosawa's Ran, don't know. Stand By Me was okay. I'm not gonna call it perfect. Stand By Me was too dark for me. The fact that they just off everyone at the end, like, oh, spoiler alert for a 40-year-old movie, by the way, like, you know, when in the outro, the narrator, he's like, oh, and this guy died in a bar fight or whatever the hell it was. You're like, why'd you put that in there, dude? Can you just, like, make it a happy ending? At first, everyone's throwing up on each other with the pies, and now someone dies in a knife fight, and it's a guy you really like or something like that. That's all I remember. See? Die Hard. Perfect. Christmas movie, by the way. This is it. This is, like, just a karma farm right here. You could keep naming all the movies. Let's go. Let's move on. Only 161 upvotes. Let's see what we've got by So All of This. Atheists, if there is life after death and you were standing before a supreme being, after you passed away, what would be the first thought that came to mind and the first question you asked them? I wouldn't call myself an atheist because, look, if I'm an atheist, then who the f*** am I talking to all the time? myself. That's lonely. I want to pretend like there's a God, so I'm gonna say there's God. But if I pretended like there was no one, and then afterward, what would be the first thought that came to mind, and the first question you asked them? I'd be like, so we're cool, right? Because I'm still not going to be an asshole, whether I believe in God or not. I'm not going to be an asshole. I'm still, do unto others situation. So I'm still going to be like, hey, man, what do we do here? I'm going to assume I get let in. Like, dude, that's a dick God if he doesn't let you. If you were a good person, all things considered, you were a good person, but he still or she doesn't let you in just because you didn't like believe in them. I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's good. So as long as you're a good person, I think it's okay. I hope, at least. I hope that's the case. Posted by, should we click on it? Let's see what people say. It's only 166 though. XX Science Lava 69XX says, please don't be Old Testament God, please be Old. Oh wait, please don't be Old Testament God, please don't be Old Testament God, please don't be Old Testament God. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because you're pretty much forgiven for everything in this one. Yeah, well, you know what's funny is technically I do follow the Old Testament God because I'm Jewish, and dude, even I would be screwed because I eat shrimp, right? I eat shrimp. I think I'm supposed to be like slaughtering a goat or something every Friday or Saturday. Look, I never said I was the best Jew. I love the holidays. You hook me up with some gefilte fish and horseradish. Oh, matzo ball soup. Come on, man. There's a reason I love Lovey's Deli and well, any deli really. And yeah. So like, I'm really, when it comes to like culture-wise, the food and the family and the heritage and stuff like that, yeah, I'm all about it. But when it actually comes to the teachings, it's like, dude, you're asking so much. Really, I'm not allowed to have pepperoni pizza. This is nuts. And obviously, I actually think that's the case with the vast majority of at least Hollywood Jews, maybe even New York Jews. And then it gets different when you go, because I've got one or two friends that actually are like kosher. But even those kosher people won't do the separate milk and meat plates like my grandparents did. Yeah, that really tripped me out. I remember seeing that. My grandmother, she was like, I loved her to pieces, so she could do no wrong, but I did think it was a little weird when she freaked out that I was getting a dish out of the cabinet. She was like, no, not that one. I was like, what? She's like, that one. And it's because I was eating a cream cheese bagel. You know what's really weird though? I'm almost certain my grandfather ate lox and cream cheese on a bagel. Dude, lox and cream cheese on a bagel is like a staple in kosher delis. Isn't that super against the rules? Is it Leviticus? Where do you learn all the rules about keeping things kosher? In case anyone is curious what I'm talking about, you can't eat the pepperoni pizza, you can't have cheeseburgers, you can't have lox and bagel. You're not allowed to mix meat and dairy. And I think it comes from a passage in the Bible talking about you're not allowed to boil a calf in its mother's milk or some batshit crazy thing like that. And then I think from that people extrapolated, okay, so you're not allowed to eat meat and cheese. Hey, everyone in agreement, we're not allowed to eat meat and cheese. Meanwhile, everyone in the village is like, dude, I'm not agreeing to that. And then the foreman's like, all right, it's settled, no meat and cheese. And everyone's like, what? Okay, let's move on. Meat and cheese is delicious. They're insane. My people are insane. Mkicon. Are any humans' beliefs close to who or what you are? Are any humans' beliefs close to who or what you? Jeez, you're striking up a conversation with God, huh? I imagine like Xerxes. Nobody is close to what I am. The 300 guy, right? I'd ask, when can I see my dog? Ah, that's wholesome. I'm gonna give you an upvote for that because that's adorable. I would miss my dog too. Mr. Lithium says, sir, ma'am, we need to talk about your messaging. Just a couple more here. Mayor of Bisbee. Bisbee. That's where Doug Stanhope. Wait a minute. Is this Doug Stanhope? Is Doug Stanhope the mayor of Bisbee, or did he just buy the town, and what's going on? I've always thought that if there is, this is what Mayor of Bisbee is saying, I've always thought that if there is a God, it's not a God that actively interferes with his creations. It will be a God that creates life and leaves it to create more life. That would account for why shitty things happen and why the universe keeps expanding. Dude doesn't have time to watch over all his creations. He's busy making more and more. I'd probably ask him if I'm right. I had no idea this resonated with other people's what he said. Yeah, I've thought of that also. We're just a bunch of sea monkeys, and it's just some person that, you know, created it and then they let it go, like The Sims, right? Like we could be like The Sims to someone else. Or you could be like the end of the very, 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 very end of the first Men in Black, where we're all a microcosm trapped inside of a marble, just one marble of a set of marbles that's being knocked around by a bunch of giant octopus cephalopod-looking aliens. Who knows? Who knows? And that has to be on an infinite timeline. That has to be a scenario, right? An infinite time and space line. That has to be accurate at some point, I guess. I don't know, maybe not. It's My View says, where is Jimmy Hoffa buried? Taking it old school. All right, one more, then we'll leave and move on to one more because I got to get to work. New account, what says, could God microwave a burrito so hot that he himself could not eat it? That's perfect. I love it. Or a Hot Pocket. I like that one, actually. Upvote. You get one. But what is your favorite video game? Nobody knows anymore. This is awesome. I'm gonna upvote it. It's very funny that they put any more in parentheses because this has to assume a bunch of people know what I'm talking about. First, I was gonna say Strider. You guys remember the video game Strider? I really liked it. I like it when in video games, the sword animation, it's not just like a line going like this. I like it. Well, yeah, it is like that when it's like whoop, and it shows the actual like blade swipe, so you get this entire range that you get to take someone out with. That's why I liked Strider. It was big, like sword swipes, whoosh, whoosh. That was cool. And then anyway, that's not the game that I was gonna say. Even though it was a badass game, a lot of people know Strider. It's not the one that I would play the most, which would denote favorite, right? I've actually been playing it kind of recently over the last like 4 or 5 years. We have this stand-up arcade. We have a pedestal, and it's got an emulator, a ton of games, and all this. So it exposed me to a bunch of games that I never played before. One of those games is called, hold on, I gotta see something. I was just checking to see if the mic was pointed toward my mouth, or if it was backwards. It would have been funny. This game is called Dosun Genseki Battle. Is that right? Dossun. And I think it's Genseki. It's a Japanese. It's a stone block falling game. In fact, when I want to play with Rocket League, Smacky Pants, I go, hey, you want to play stone block game? Because I forget what the actual name is, but that's the one that I've been playing. Let me click on this. Traffic is, oh my god, you hear this? It's picking up, so I gotta go. This is my traffic face. I'm an idiot. Logical fallacy cat, Mischief Makers. It's such a ridiculous sounding concept and storyline, but it's so much fun. Mischief Makers, I'll check it out later. Bushido Blade, PS1, great game. I used to play that with Jake, actually. Jake, you listening to this? Bushido, you remember that? And part 2, Parasite Eve for the PS1 is and always be my favorite video game of all time. Very cool. Skies of Arcadia, bought it on a whim for my Dreamcast, and it fast became my favorite game. Especially loved the mini game with the memory card. The Dark Cloud series, never heard of it. Legend of Legaia, I don't know, an old PS1 JRPG with a really fun battle system and awesome character progression. The characters got their powers from symbiotes that attached to their arms. At certain levels or points in the story, the symbiotes would grow and change. Leveling up was always exciting, waiting with bated breath to see their new forms. Edited, baked to baited. Oh, you should have kept it. That would have been hilarious. Okay, it's all good. Caledor Estalon says it's a very PS1. Oh, he's just responding to that. Play the shit out of this. Wow, I got a lot. Okay, just a couple more, then I gotta go. Then I gotta go. There was a Bruce Lee game on Commodore 64 that was so much fun to play. Another was Heist, also on Commodore. I used to play Ghostbusters on Commodore 64. I used to play Ghostbusters and Lode Runner. Oh my god, dude. I have a terrible memory from this little girl. We were at a daycare. I used to play Commodore at our daycare in Burbank, and I was playing Lode Runner, and I was doing okay, and there was this little girl, because it's a daycare. I'm gonna say, let's see, it would have been 80s. Yeah, okay, so 7. I would have been about 7 years old, and there was another little girl there watching me play, and she goes, oh my god, I'm an idiot. This is like the second time, because I did something similar when my girlfriend saw me playing, or play Star Wars with Jake in the backyard. In this case, I'm playing Lode Runner. I'm doing really well, and this little girl next to me goes, wow, you're really good. I thought she was being facetious. I thought she was clowning on me, and I go, better than you. And she started crying and went to the leader of the daycare, and I got in trouble, and I couldn't play the Commodore anymore. Rightfully so. I was an asshole. But it's because I was self-conscious, you know. I think everyone lost there. A fave was Alice by American McGee. Creepy as, yes. Grommet 801. American McGee's Alice was very creepy and beautiful, beautiful game. Arcanum of Steamworks and Magic Obscura takes first place for Obscure Amazing Games as Ponder This. Midnight Clubs and Sentient Owl. Katamari Damas. Yeah, these are getting too obscure. Listen, guys, I gotta go to work. I'll try to put out like 2 a day because I really like doing these Reddit things now. I also like getting up early, taking my shower, drinking a coffee, and then coming and doing these. I feel more refreshed and energized. I like this. Leave in the comments if you think this is cool. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'll make another one. We'll talk soon. Let's talk in the comments, and then I'll try to release another one today. Let's see if we can do two a day. That would be really fun. Okay. Talk to you in a second. Bye bye.